Hi, I'm Brendia Miller, just a girl who feels like she barely survived from being 18 to 29, from an abusive marriage to divorce, pregnant with my sweet girl to the mom of an angel, and this was all before I was even 20. Since then, I married the high school sweetheart, had a sweet boy, wrote a few books, blogs, and in 9 years, 3 states, 4 cities, 13 homes, 2 hotels, 1 angel girl, 1 sweet boy, a bunch of jobs, and an insane amount of love and laughter. Here I am, 30 years old, talking to you, sharing my wisdom from the infinite lessons I have learned while still learning to navigate around the things that I haven't. Come along and navigate with me. There is room here for your joy, your grief, your hormones, your emotions, your friendships, relationships, heartbreak, and all of the other things that come along with being in your 30s. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of In Your 30s, and happy birthday to us, because August 30th was officially our 1-year birthday. We were going to do an episode for our birthday episode, but honestly, it's also my birthday. My son's birthday is the next day. It just didn't work out this year. We had a very, very light episode load for our first season, but this will be the first official episode of season 2 of the In Your 30s podcast, and I'm so excited to be able to bring a second season to the 30-something gang and just dive into the 30s with you guys. So if you're new here, welcome, and if you are not, welcome back, 30-something gang. I am your host, Brendia Miller, and today we're diving deep into a topic that I know so many of us can relate to: feeling stagnant. If you're in your 30s like I am, and you've been hit with this overwhelming sense that you are just stuck, and you just feel like you're not sure really where you're going next, or that you're doing anything different or productive, you're not alone. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your personal growth, it's very easy to feel like you're in a rut, especially because the world that we live in now and society makes it seem like we should have it all figured out, like we should constantly be doing things and achieving things, and honestly, it's just a lot. And it's very easy, again, to just feel stagnant and feel stuck. So today we're going to talk about how to recognize the feeling of being stagnant in your life, why it happens, and most importantly, things we can do to try to break free from it. I think the first and most important thing that we do is acknowledge that it's okay to feel this way. It's normal and it happens. And what is not okay is sitting in it and not trying to reignite that passion for the life that you're living. You know, life in your 30s is just this weird mix of trying to balance stability with the lingering dreams and ambitions that we had in our 20s. Maybe you had really big plans. Maybe you actually achieved some. But now you're asking yourself, what's next? And I know I am too. And honestly, it's okay. Maybe things didn't go as we planned. Maybe you're feeling disappointed. Maybe you're feeling lost. Wherever you are on the spectrum, understand that this is a valid feeling, and this is something that most people go through and can relate to on some level at some point. So why do we feel stagnant? You know, there are a lot of reasons that can contribute to this feeling. There's a lot of circumstances, and it does vary based on each person and your life and your personality and the people that you have around you and your job. There's so many things. But one of the biggest things I think I am struggling with is routine overload. And I think that it's common that other 30-year-olds might be feeling like they are stuck in this routine and they have a routine overload. So we're going to dive pretty deep into routine overload as a reason. And if this hits home, then hopefully this will help. But let's talk about what routine overload actually is. And that way we can get a better understanding, because we may not have heard this term before. This is a relatively new term to myself as well, but I know for a fact that I've felt it, and I'm sure other people my age have and are feeling it as well. So, routine overload basically happens when your daily life becomes so repetitive and predictable that it basically drains your energy and enthusiasm for life. It's when your day-to-day tasks, whether it's work, household chores, social obligations, whatever it may be, start to feel like they're just on an endless loop. You can really get stuck on autopilot in this mode. Imagine waking up every morning and just going through the exact same motions. You get ready, you go to work, you come home, maybe take care of the family, then it's dinner. Maybe you're on TV or you're, TikTok scrolling or whatever you're doing. You go to bed, you sleep, you wake up, and you repeat. And then you repeat, and then you repeat, and then you repeat. And after a while, it starts to feel like you're just going through the motions. You're on autopilot. You're not really there. And you could find yourself disconnecting from different aspects of your life altogether just due to routine overload. The problem with routine overload is that it can sneak up on you so quick and so quietly, and what starts out as a comfortable, predictable routine can gradually turn into a very suffocating cycle that leaves you feeling uninspired and just stuck. And let's be very clear, routine overload isn't just about being busy or having a lot on your plate. It's really just about the fact that your routine becomes so rigid that there's no room for spontaneity or creativity or excitement. And when that happens, it's very easy to feel like you're just existing rather than truly actually living your life. This feeling can make you lose sight of your passions and your goals, because your day is just so packed with to-dos and there's no space left for the things that really make you feel on fire and genuinely light you up. The result of this is feeling stuck, feeling like you're not growing, feeling like you're not moving forward. And you can feel this way even if you do a lot of things a day. Because trust me, I do a lot of things a day. And I still find myself feeling this way. I still find myself zoning out, or I'll take an entire drive from where I live to my house and literally won't remember half of it because I'm on autopilot at that point. I did this the other day. I was out all day, and then I had to go pick my son up, and then I had to go take care of my ducks again, and then I had to leave and go to the store because they were out of food. Then I had to drive another hour back to my house to take care of my ducks because they were out of food. And then I finally got to go home. And honest to God, there's so many times where I just don't even hear the conversation that's being had in the car anymore because I'm just so out of zone, honestly. So recognizing routine overload is the first step to breaking free from it. It's really about recognizing that while routines are important for stability, and yes, I know society preaches routine. Too much of the same thing can leave you feeling drained and disconnected from basically anything that matters to you. It can be your relationship, your kids, your job. It doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't discriminate. So once you identify it, you can start making small changes to break the cycle and bring in some fresh new things to your life. And talking about routine overload is very crucial both for men and women because it's something that affects us all. And oftentimes we don't even realize it. We live in a society that values productivity and efficiency. And while routines do help us manage our very busy lives, they also can trap us in cycles that limit our growth and our happiness. So whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, it's very important to talk about routine overload. And I think especially this does affect 30-something-year-olds. We're in this age where we're, we're raising our kids and we're getting everything together and we're feeling like our lives should be put together, so we're forcing this routine. Or maybe you're like me and you just have very long drives and a lot of things to do and the same things every day. But either way, it's drowning us. So it's very important to address this and talk about it and handle it quickly. Now, with that said, there are other reasons like fear of change. When you get used to certain situations or comforts, those things can also keep us stuck. That is a lot of reasons why, honestly, people will stay in relationships. They're comfortable and, they don't want to have to move or find a new job or find their kids new schools or whatever. Fear of change can really, truly keep you physically and mentally just stuck. Another thing is unmet expectations. And everybody has expectations, but expectations are so unhealthy. They are so unhealthy. And I am the worst because I also have expectations of things and life and people, and I am preaching to the choir. But many of us had an idea of where we would be by now for sure. And many of us can attest that we have not met that expectation entirely all the way. Some of us at all. So whether it's in your careers or your relationships, maybe it's your personal achievements, whatever it is, when reality doesn't match those expectations, it can be earth shattering. It can be really disheartening, and it can really put you in that rut and that feeling of being just stuck. Because by now you thought you were going to be the CEO, or you thought you were going to have 6 kids, or you thought you were going to, live in a much bigger house or a better area or a better neighborhood, or have already just fled the state completely. Whatever the case may be, that can make you feel stuck, not leaving those expectations behind or having expectations that are unrealistic for life. Because let's face it, most of us planned our lives as kids or teenagers. We did not actually have any idea what it took to make those things happen. But we've already set those expectations for ourselves, and now we're kind of locked into them. And so we got to work on that as well. And then a lot of things I think that people struggle with is really not being able to determine what their purpose is, or having a lack of purpose. Maybe you knew what your purpose was and you reached your goal, and now you don't feel so fulfilled. Now you feel empty. Now you feel like you need something else to jump right into and crush and reach that goal, and you don't have it. And sometimes it leaves us feeling kind of like we just fell flat on our back and got a punch to the gut. And it makes it easy. It makes it easy to fall into this rut, and it makes it easy to feel stuck because you're like, what is next? What am I doing next? What am I doing now? What is to come? And all of these things are things that happen every single day to 30-year-olds. And even sometimes they can be 20-year-olds, or, even as you get older, 40s and 50s, these things can still happen. Maybe you don't experience this in your 30s. Maybe you experience in your 40s. So hopefully today's podcast will help you be prepared for that if you have not experienced it. And if you are experiencing it, hopefully today we can help you get out of that rut, because trust me, I absolutely get it. I really, really do. Now, as we know, nothing is overnight, but what can we start doing? What tools can we use in our life? And what can we start implementing to fix it? How do we get unstuck and reignite this passion for life and projects and work and, motherhood and fatherhood and marriage that we used to have? I'm going to share a couple steps that I have been using and that help me in different situations of being stagnant and feeling stuck. And the first one that I really truly live by is reflect and acknowledge. I am so big on self-reflection and being honest with yourself. Man, it hurts sometimes. Again, punch to the gut. But take some time to really think about why you feel stagnant. Is it your job? Is it your relationships? Do you feel like you just haven't accomplished as much as other people your age or in your area? Sometimes just acknowledging the source can really be a powerful step, because if you know the cause and you know the effect, you should be able to reverse that, uno reverse, and fix it. You should be able to at least start working on it from that direction, because your job is not a place to be stuck at. You can change jobs, you can find a new job, or even start with hobbies that maybe will help you branch into a further career or a different career path. And life isn't a competition, you guys. It's really not. The thing about it is everybody gets where they're going at different times, and we're all going different places. So there's no need to really honestly rush that. And another good tool for this step would be to write down your thoughts. It doesn't have to be, I know like when you watch TV and movies and they're writing in their little journals and diaries, it's like, "Dear diary, I had a bad day today." We don't care. Write down a bunch of random stuff. Write in circles. Draw a flower and write on the petals what it is that's driving you crazy. We don't care, whatever it takes. It does not have to be organized. Now, if you are a writer who likes to be organized, go for it. But it don't have to be organized. Your thoughts aren't organized. Thoughts are messy. They're new and they come suddenly and they leave just as quickly. They're exciting and they're fun, and they can really, really help you if you try to get them down on paper where you can actually visualize what's going on in your head. Because the messy is okay, but it's being able to recall it and say, "Oh yeah, okay, so now for this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, this is how this has been." And it's also a good way to see your progress, so you can go and look back on your diaries or your journals and say, "Dang, I really actually have helped myself." Now, another thing that you can do is just set some new goals. It is so easy to feel stuck when you're not working towards anything, because you are stuck. You're doing all the things, and where are you going? So set some small achievable goals that excite you. It doesn't have to be something that's crazy big and life changing. It doesn't have to be, a new house or a new car, or, a 6-figure job or whatever. It can be something as little as learning a new hobby or a fitness goal or learning something new. Every little goal counts, and it can keep you feeling like you're moving forward in between the bigger goals and the bigger moments. And these things should genuinely excite you. They should be things that make you happy. Don't set a fitness goal if you don't like to go to the gym and you don't like to eat healthy and you don't like to work out. It ain't going to work. You're going to disappoint yourself more, and then you're going to continue to feel stuck and feel worse about yourself. So if you don't like to work out, keep your butt at home. Maybe you like to write. Maybe you like to, film videos. Maybe you don't like to film videos, but maybe you like to do hauls on TikTok, or maybe you like to learn how to crochet, or even just learn in general. Go and sign up for a certificate program. There's plenty of colleges and programs that will give you a certificate for quite a bit less than tuition, and maybe it's something you would like to learn. Believe it or not, I have very weird certificates from things that I have learned, but I actually have a certificate for, I can't remember what the exact term is. I'll have to find it when we move, but it's basically for an online class that I took from, I think it was Harvard, and it was about the healthcare system and being a midwife in Australia. So, in case you wanted to know, a little tidbit. You can learn plenty of things online and say, "Look, I'm going to finish this little class. This is just a new goal for me." Plenty of things. So with that said, we're also going to embrace the change. Embrace the change that your new goals bring, or, whatever it may be. Maybe it's changes that were already there and those are what have you stuck. Embrace them. When we are younger and we feel super out of control, we actually are very proactive about change. We go and we get a piercing, or we dye our hair, or we cut our hair, or whatever. And oftentimes people do that a lot anyways now as adults. But there's still times where change can be scary, and it can be difficult, and it can make you feel like you are stuck because the steps and the effort to make the change are so difficult or crippling or scary. So I know it's easier said than done. I'm not unaware, but it doesn't have to be scary. Start small. Rearrange your living space. Try a new routine for work, or switch up your routine totally. These little changes can spark new ideas and new perspectives that can help you move forward, which is ultimately your goal. And if there is a change that you feel like you're going to have to go through that has you feeling stuck, or maybe you are in a relationship and you just feel stuck in this relationship, but in order to leave the relationship, you have to make changes in your life. I know that these moments are petrifying, but these are also the moments that are groundbreaking to the new person you will become. So, whenever possible, embrace it. If you have to get a new career, start a new career in something you love doing. If you have to get a new place to live, find a place in an area that you are so passionate about, or move to a new state or city and explore new things. All of these things are okay to do, and they're great ways to embrace the change. Because life is literally always changing. It's never going to stop. And sometimes that change can actually reconnect us with our passions, which is also very important as a step for moving past this block, this barrier that has you stuck. Sometimes we just get busy. Sometimes we just get so stuck in the routine. Sometimes we get just overwhelmed and we forget to go paint, or we forget that we love cooking, or we forget to take a trip, take a break. We forget to write. I am so guilty of this. I get busy with everything and then I forget the things I love the most, and it sucks so badly. But you have to make sure to really carve out time in your week to indulge in your passions, or you're going to dull and feel stuck. It's not about just having fun, but it's also kind of about reminding yourself that you're capable of being happy, you're capable of finding joy, you're capable of being creative or creating, you're capable of making and destroying and then remaking. You're capable of so many things. I think a lot of the time we do get busy as parents and employees and people, and we do truly just kind of leave our passions behind. When I was younger, I wanted so badly to be a professional dancer, and I was actually a really good dancer, believe it or not, but it just over time became something that wasn't in the forefront of my focus, and it just didn't happen. And that's okay. But for some people, no longer having that passion would or could put them in a rut or make them feel stuck, because maybe that's the thing they just like to do the most. Maybe that's the thing that makes them feel the safest. Maybe that's where they feel the most themselves. So take the time and reconnect yourself with your passions. Even if you have to take your phone, set an alarm, and say, hey, this hour of my day is blocked out. Do not bother me. Do not come in here. I don't want to do anything. I'm not dealing with none of it. I am going to block this hour out for myself. And if I don't have a passion right now, or if I find that I don't like my passions that I used to like, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to find new passions. And then go in your little phone, set your little alarm and do it. Because you have to prioritize yourself as well. And you have to reconnect yourself with your passions if you're ever going to feel like you're going to move forward, if that is what is missing in your life. Whew, that was a mouthful. But that's okay, because sometimes we have a lot of things to say. And when we are feeling stuck and we're feeling in a rut, it's important to find someone who can support us in this moment, and maybe just to listen, maybe just to talk, seek support. Don't go through this alone. Talk to your friends, talk to your family or a therapist. Maybe you're like me. I don't talk to my friends and my family about it too much because honestly, I just like to stay to myself and not their business. Also, full disclosure, I have situations that make me feel stuck in those relationships that I need to deal with, and I'm not ready to yet. So, with all of that being said, you can also go and get you a therapist. There are also apps now online, and there are plenty of ways to meet people who are going through the same thing as well. You don't have to be alone. Sometimes just having someone to listen can make the biggest difference in the world. And plus, you're also going to get other perspectives and solutions that you may not have considered, because at the end of the day, we don't know it all. We don't always think of everything. Nobody can figure it all out on their own. And because of that, the last thing that you need to really, truly do, prioritize, be kind to yourself. Progress isn't linear. If you've ever seen a graph or a chart, it's never just straight, like across the board. It's always up and down and up and down. And that's the way that progress is. That's how life is. It's okay to have setbacks. I've had a lot of them since we moved to Tennessee, so I get it. It's okay to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to give yourself grace. It's okay to understand that you're not the only one going through this, and it's normal. Happens all the time. Every single day, I promise you. What matters the most isn't that you are hard on yourself, because that's not going to help you. It isn't that anyone else is hard on you, for that matter. What matters the most is that you keep moving forward, even if it's at a slow pace. Baby, look, we all remember the story from elementary school about the tortoise and the hare, so I don't even need to tell you, because you can end up a lot further ahead at a slow pace than you can by rushing and getting it done and overwhelming yourself with life. Period. Point blank. So before we wrap up today, I really want to leave you guys with this. Feeling stagnant isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're ready for growth. It's a sign that you are ready to bust free and you're ready to bloom somewhere else. And this environment or this moment or this time in life or whatever it may be that is the cause of you feeling stagnant is not feeding your growth. And that's okay. It happens. But it is your mind and your body telling you that it is time for a new chapter. So open the book and embrace it. Because even if it feels uncomfortable at first, the 30s are a time for evolving, rediscovering, reigniting. Maybe I'll become a professional dancer by the time I'm 60. Who knows? Reignite those dreams and rediscover things and evolve and grow. Because honestly, life's too short, man. So what is the next step that you're going to take? Maybe it's setting the new goal, or maybe it's just taking a few moments to reflect on where you are and where you really want to be. Whatever it is, know that you're not alone on this journey and that we will be figuring out together. I promise. We're getting it together. I promise. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of In Your 30s. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. I'm Brandia Miller. Welcome to Season 2 of In Your 30s, and until next time, just keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, and keep pushing your growth. Take care, everyone.